The world of big business is often portrayed as a realm of innovation, wealth creation, and progress. Yet, lurking beneath this polished veneer is a history rife with ambition that curdles into greed, and pressure that leads to catastrophic ethical breaches. Corporate scandals are more than just business stories. They are cautionary tales about human nature, institutional failure, and the devastating consequences of unchecked power. These events shatter public trust, wipe out fortunes, ruin careers, and often lead to sweeping legal and regulatory reforms that redefine the rules of the game for everyone. From elaborate accounting tricks that create phantom profits to outright deception that puts lives at risk, the biggest corporate scandals have left indelible scars on the global economy and society. They serve as stark reminders that a company's culture and its commitment to ethics are just as vital as its balance sheet. Examining these monumental failures offers critical lessons in transparency, accountability, and the timeless truth that a reputation, built over decades, can be utterly destroyed in a moment. This article explores 10 of the most infamous corporate scandals that rocked the business world to its core. 1. Enron, 2001. The poster child for accounting fraud. Before its spectacular collapse, Enron was the darling of Wall Street, an energy trading behemoth lauded for its innovation and seemingly endless growth. But behind the curtain, the company was a house of cards built on systemic accounting fraud. The Enron scandal, explained simply, is a story of deception on a grand scale. Executives used a complex web of off-balance sheet entities called special purpose entities to hide billions of dollars in debt and inflate the company's earnings. This created the illusion of a wildly profitable and financially healthy company, causing its stock price to soar. The fraud was masterminded by top executives like CEO Jeff Skilling and CFO Andrew Fastow, and went unchecked by its auditor, the prestigious accounting firm Arthur Andersen. When the truth finally began to unravel in 2001, the company imploded with breathtaking speed. Shareholders lost over $74 billion. Thousands of employees lost their jobs and retirement savings, and the scandal was so profound that it led to the dissolution of Arthur Andersen. The fallout was immense, prompting the U.S. Congress to pass the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002, a landmark piece of legislation designed to improve corporate governance and prevent similar corporate fraud examples in the future. 2. Wells Fargo, 2016. A culture of high-pressure deceit. The Wells Fargo scandal was not born from complex financial instruments, but from a relentless, high-pressure sales culture that pushed employees to unethical extremes. For years, the bank's leadership imposed aggressive and unrealistic sales quotas, leading to a shocking and widespread practice of fraud. To meet their targets and keep their jobs, thousands of employees secretly opened millions of unauthorized bank and credit card accounts in the names of their customers without their knowledge or consent. This rampant misconduct, which came to light in 2016, constituted a massive breach of trust. Customers were charged fees for accounts they never requested, and some even saw their credit scores damaged. The Wells Fargo account fraud scandal revealed a deeply broken corporate culture where ethical conduct was sacrificed at the altar of sales metrics. The bank faced billions of dollars in fines. CEO John Stumpf was forced to resign in disgrace, and the institution's once sterling reputation was left in tatters. It served as a powerful lesson that how a company achieves its results is just as important as the results themselves, and that a toxic internal culture will inevitably spill out to harm customers. 3. Volkswagen, 2015. The Dieselgate Deception. In 2015, the world discovered that one of the globe's largest and most trusted automakers, Volkswagen, was engaged in a massive, deliberate, and audacious fraud. The Volkswagen Dieselgate scandal revolved around the company's clean diesel cars. For years, VW marketed these vehicles as being both fuel-efficient and environmentally friendly. The reality was a calculated deception. The company had secretly installed defeat devices, sophisticated software, in 11 million of its diesel vehicles worldwide. This software could detect when a car was being tested in a laboratory setting and would switch the engine to a low-emissions mode to meet regulatory standards. However, once the car was on the open road, the software would switch off the emissions controls, allowing the vehicle to emit nitrogen oxides at levels up to 40 times higher than the legal limit in the US. The scandal shattered consumer trust, led to the resignation of CEO Martin Winterkorn, and cost the company over $30 billion in fines, recalls, and legal settlements. Dieselgate became a byword for corporate hypocrisy and a stark example of a company prioritizing profits over public health and environmental responsibility. 4. Theranos, 2015. A Silicon Valley fairy tale turns to fraud. The story of Theranos and its charismatic founder, Elizabeth Holmes, was once the stuff of Silicon Valley legend. Holmes, a Stanford dropout, promised to revolutionize healthcare with a proprietary technology that could run hundreds of blood tests from a single, tiny drop of blood pricked from a finger. The company attracted hundreds of millions in venture capital and was valued at a staggering $9 billion at its peak. There was just one problem. The technology never actually worked. The Theranos fraud was a decade-long deception propped up by hype, secrecy, and outright lies. Investigations, most notably by journalist John Carreyrou of the Wall Street Journal, revealed that the company's miracle Edison machines were unreliable and could perform only a fraction of the promised tests. In reality, Theranos was secretly running most of its tests on commercially available equipment from other companies, often diluting the tiny finger prick samples in ways that produced inaccurate and dangerous results for real patients. The scandal exposed the dangers of Silicon Valley's fake-it-till-you-make-it culture and resulted in Holmes and her former partner, Ramesh Sunny Balwani, being convicted of criminal fraud and sentenced to prison. 5. Bernie Madoff, 2008. The largest Ponzi scheme in history. For decades, Bernie Madoff was a titan of Wall Street, a former chairman of the NASDAQ stock exchange whose investment firm was seen as an exclusive and safe haven for the wealthy. His clients, which included charities, universities, and thousands of individual investors, were thrilled with the consistently high and steady returns he delivered, year after year, regardless of market conditions. In 2008, the world found out why those returns were too good to be true. The Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme was the largest financial fraud in U.S. history. Madoff wasn't actually investing his clients' money. Instead, he was simply depositing it into a bank account and using new investors' capital to pay returns to earlier investors. The entire operation was a colossal lie, supported by fabricated account statements. When the 2008 financial crisis hit, a wave of clients tried to withdraw their money, and the house of cards collapsed. The scheme defrauded investors of an estimated $65 billion in paper wealth. Madoff was arrested and sentenced to 150 years in prison, leaving behind a trail of financial ruin and lives destroyed by one man's monumental deception. 6. Lehman Brothers, 2008. The domino that toppled the global economy. The bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers on September 15, 2008 was not just another corporate failure. It was the largest bankruptcy in U.S. history and the pivotal moment of the 2008 global financial crisis. While not a fraud on the level of Enron or Madoff, the Lehman Brothers collapse was precipitated by extreme risk-taking, deceptive accounting practices, and a catastrophic miscalculation of the housing market. The firm was heavily invested in subprime mortgages, risky loans made to borrowers with poor credit, and had leveraged itself to a dangerous degree. To hide its shaky financial position, Lehman used an accounting loophole known as Repo 105. This practice allowed the firm to temporarily move tens of billions of dollars of assets off its balance sheet at the end of each quarter, making it appear far less indebted than it actually was. When the U.S. housing bubble burst, the value of Lehman's mortgage-backed securities plummeted. Unlike other failing banks that received government bailouts, The U.S. Treasury allowed Lehman to fail, triggering a seismic shockwave through the global financial system, freezing credit markets, and plunging the world into the most severe recession since the Great Depression. 7. Facebook Cambridge Analytica, 2018, the weaponization of personal data. The Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal brought the abstract concept of data privacy into sharp, terrifying focus for hundreds of millions of people. It was revealed in 2018 that a British political consulting firm, Cambridge Analytica, had improperly harvested the personal data of up to 87 million Facebook users without their consent. The data was collected via a seemingly innocuous personality quiz app called This Is Your Digital Life. The app not only collected data from the users who took the quiz, but also scraped the data of their entire network of friends. Cambridge Analytica then used this vast trove of information to build detailed psychological profiles on voters, which were then used to target them with highly personalized and persuasive political advertising during the 2016 US presidential election and the UK's Brexit referendum. The scandal exposed the shocking laxity of Facebook's privacy controls and raised profound questions about the ethics of data mining and the power of social media to manipulate public opinion. It resulted in a $5 billion fine for Facebook from the U.S. Federal Trade Commission and a global reckoning over who controls our personal data. 8. WorldCom, 2002. Simple fraud, staggering numbers. Hot on the heels of the Enron scandal, the collapse of telecom giant WorldCom in 2002 revealed another case of massive accounting fraud, though one executed with far less complexity. At its peak, WorldCom was the second largest long-distance phone company in the U.S. To meet Wall Street's expectations and prop up its stock price, CEO Bernie Ebbers and other executives engaged in a straightforward but enormous fraud. The scheme had two main parts. First, they improperly capitalized line costs, treating everyday operating expenses as long-term capital investments, which artificially boosted the company's assets and profits. Second, they simply inflated revenues with fake accounting entries. The fraud was remarkably simple, but staggering in scale, ultimately hiding over $11 billion in losses. The deception was uncovered by the company's own internal audit team, leading to a rapid bankruptcy that surpassed even Enron's in size. The scandal resulted in a 25-year prison sentence for Ebbers and further solidified the need for the stricter regulations embodied in the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. 9. Parmalat, 2003, Europe's Enron. The Parmalat scandal was a shocking case of fraud that revealed deep-seated corruption at one of Italy's most prominent and family-run companies. The dairy and food giant, once a symbol of Italian industrial success, collapsed in 2003 after a €14 billion hole was discovered in its accounts, making it Europe's biggest bankruptcy at the time. For years, the company's founder, Callisto Tanzi, and his team had been falsifying the company's finances to hide massive losses and a spiraling debt load. The deception was brazen. The company faked records, created fictitious offshore shell companies to invent assets, and even went so far as to claim it had a €3.9 billion bank account with Bank of America that simply did not exist. The discovery of a forged Bank of America letter confirming this non-existent account was the final straw that brought the entire charade crashing down. The scandal exposed a web of collusion between the company, its auditors, and international banks, shaking the foundations of the European financial world and earning Parmalat the nickname Europe's Enron. 10. LIBOR Scandal, 2012. Rigging the world's most important number. The LIBOR scandal was different from the others on this list, as it didn't involve a single company, but a conspiracy among some of the world's largest and most powerful banks. LIBOR, London Interbank Offered Rate, was a benchmark interest rate that underpinned trillions of dollars in financial products worldwide, from mortgages and student loans to complex derivatives. It was meant to be an average of the interest rates that major banks estimated they would be charged to borrow from each other. Investigations that came to a head in 2012 revealed that for years, traders at numerous major banks, including Barclays, UBS, and Royal Bank of Scotland, had been colluding to manipulate the daily LIBOR submissions. They would either nudge the rate up or down by tiny amounts to benefit their own trading positions, earning them huge profits. At other times during the 2008 financial crisis, banks systematically submitted artificially low rates to make themselves appear more financially healthy than they actually were. This manipulation of one of the most critical numbers in global finance was a profound betrayal of public trust, leading to billions in fines and a fundamental overhaul of how such key benchmark rates are set. Further reading. For those who wish to delve deeper into the intricate details and human drama behind these monumental business failures, the following books are essential reading: The Smartest Guys in the Room, The Amazing Rise and Scandalous Fall of Enron by Bethany McLean and Peter Elkind. Bad Blood, Secrets and Lies in a Silicon Valley Startup by John Carreyrou. The Wizard of Lies, Bernie Madoff and the Death of Trust by Diana B. Enrique's Too Big to Fail. The inside story of how Wall Street and Washington fought to save the financial system and themselves by Andrew Ross Sorkin. Faster, Higher, Farther. The Volkswagen Scandal by Jack Ewing. Here at Zenterra.blog, our mission is to take those tricky subjects and unlock them, making